Many animals form strong attachments to specific individuals. This solitary cat patiently endured the entire winter, eagerly awaiting the return of its beloved owner. The heartwarming tale of their reunion is truly incredible. Join us as we delve into this touching narrative of loyalty and love. Little Panther, a cat born on the streets, faced the common fear of humans associated with street-dwelling felines. People observing him with his mother mistook her for a house cat, as she displayed no fear of humans, yet she chose to have her litter in a park near a residential building. The mother diligently cared for her kittens, but one day she disappeared without a trace. Speculations arose she might have had a family in the building who didn't want the responsibility of her kittens, or perhaps her own family was unaware of her little ones. Consequently, the kittens were left to fend for themselves. Local residents adopted all the other kittens, but Panther's fate took a somber turn. His dark, nearly black fur evoked superstitions, leading everyone to shun him. Some were even unkind when he sought affection. Despite these obstacles, Panther's story holds promise and resilience. Follow his journey to discover how he defied the odds and found a loving home where he truly belongs. Luckily, there were some other kind people who made sure to look after him as much as they could. A few kids chased off the mean people, and from then on they left Panther alone. They gave him food and always put out fresh water for him to drink, but he was scared, and as soon as they wanted to pet him, he would run away. It was really sad, but most of the people just decided to let him be while trying to take care of his most basic needs. When the first winter came, they tried to convince Panther to go inside, but he didn't want to. Some of the children in the residential building were really worried about him, but he seemed to be doing okay. He was seen walking in the snow now and then, once fully covered in snow, but then he would look like he had warmed up. After he made it through the winter, people decided that he was fine fending for himself. He was fed, but he didn't receive any love. You could say that since he had never experienced any love or affection, it wasn't like Panther knew what he was missing, but still, it was sad. He was often seen playing in the park, chasing leaves and just being a kitten. Another year went by and winter started up again. This was one of the most extreme winters that the city had faced in many years. One day, the residential building ran out of hot water. They asked a plumber to come out to fix the issue. An older man named Bernard brought his team with him, and they got to work. They went underneath the building to look at the pipes and the boilers. They found that one of the boilers was malfunctioning and had to be replaced. Bernard was inspecting the rest of the pipes and the boilers to make sure that nothing else was defective when suddenly he heard a sound underneath one of the pipes in the corner. At first, he thought it was a very big rat, but when he got closer, he realized that it was a cat that was trying to warm up with the heat from the pipes. He asked one of the residents about the cat and heard the story of Panther. It seemed like the mystery of how he stayed safe during the winter was solved. The feline had found heat by sleeping next to the warm water pipes. It was really lucky that he didn't get burned by the hot pipes Panther hid from the workers when he heard them. He was hiding in a corner, but as soon as Bernard tried to get closer, he bolted out the door. The poor thing didn't trust anyone, but unlike all the other people that had been in his life, Bernard wasn't going to give up that easily. He got permission from the caretaker of the building and started going there every single day. First, Bernard brought a cat crate that he placed next to the pipes that Panther was using. Inside he put some warm blankets, and next to it he placed food. He wanted to get the cat used to the carrier and give him a place where he felt safe. Bernard even put some cat toys inside the crate. He went to go and visit the cat often. He sat quietly in the corner when Panther was there, then he started throwing snacks at the cat until the scared creature started to get closer. After Panther started to get used to the crate, and when he felt safe inside it, Bernard finally closed the door. At first, Panther wasn't happy, but eventually the cat relaxed and seemed to enjoy the ride. Bernard took him home. He had a workshop attached to the house where he had set up everything that a cat could need. He had placed toys and scratching posts, shelves to climb on, and even an animal heating pad to make Panther nice and snug, and of course, Bernard made sure that Panther had plenty of food and water. He didn't want to give the cat the run of the house until he was used to living inside, and he was less likely to run away. The workshop was turned into a cat palace and Panther couldn't believe his luck. Bernard also spent loads of time with his new friend and pet. He worked in the workshop, but he also came in and sat reading while the cat played. One day, the cat came to sit next to Bernard on the couch. Then a few days later, he suddenly came and carefully climbed onto Bernard's lap and curled up. Bernard had to hold his breath to not cry out. He didn't want to spook Panther, but he was just so happy that the cat was finally starting to trust him. Eventually, Bernard's adult son, who lived with him, also came in to meet the cat. But it was clear he was a one-person animal. He wasn't scared of BJ, but he had no interest in making friends. On the other hand, Bernard had his whole heart. He loved this human who had gone to so much trouble to win his trust, and after he lived in the workshop for a while, they opened the door between the workshop and the rest of the house. Panther could roam free, and he never tried to get out. He was very happy living life as a domesticated animal. Soon, he even chose to sleep in Bernard's bed by his feet. The friendship was very sweet. Another year went by and it was starting to become cold again. This winter, Panther would not have to worry about the cold. He had a house to live in that was warm and safe. But then things suddenly changed. One day, Bernard fed Panther breakfast, and then he left to go to work, but that night, Bernard did not come home. BJ came home and he tried to give the cat attention, but Panther didn't want his love. He kept sitting at the door waiting for Bernard to come home, but he never did. The cat had been alone his entire life, but now he missed his favorite human, and he felt really lonely. The cat only knew that Bernard had left, and that he didn't come back. He must have felt so abandoned. BJ did his best, but Panther wanted Bernard. But what Panther didn't know was that Bernard was fighting to get back home. That day that Bernard went to work started like any other. He went into his office, and then he was called out to a job. While he was working, he suddenly felt very strange. His words were slurred and he collapsed. After suffering a stroke, Bernard faced an uncertain fate, and his loved ones feared for his life. Miraculously, he began showing signs of improvement, but the journey to recovery would be arduous and prolonged. Spending a considerable time in the hospital, he later moved to a rehabilitation center where he worked tirelessly to regain his mobility and normal functions. His absence from home lasted 4 long months, leaving him anxious about Panther's reaction upon his return. However, what unfolded next was truly unbelievable. Upon stepping into the house, a dark blur streaked towards Bernard. The exuberant Panther leaped into his arms. The joyous cat stuck by Bernard's side for days, a clear testament to their overwhelming delight in reuniting.
Watching another heartwarming video. Please check out our channel for more stories that will make your heart melt.